T-Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think they were big and bad too. Can you just see them? There's the wolf. See? Woofy. Alright, but like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn house of straw fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. A little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house, and nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not gonna believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully cold, but my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup of my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home, maybe make a nice birthday calm fellow. But when somebody talks about my Granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door. The whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a really big scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going around to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very interesting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Yeah. Did you like that? Yeah. You may do another book? Is it okay to do another book? I'm going to do another book. Now, I don't know why. I picked this book too, and it's about sneezing too. Anybody have allergies?
They will after this.
As long as they're hopefully not allergic to my reading. So this one is called, wait, let me get a little sip of water. You don't mind.
How's your mom? I was at the taping of the show Friday.
Were you really?
Yes.
She's great. She had a really fun time. My mom's also my best friend. Okay, my only friend. This one's called The Flea's Sneeze. This is really good when you want to practice your diction. Okay. On a dark, dark night, on an old, old farm, in a rickety, prickly, tumble-down barn, everybody slept peacefully. Can everyone see? Is this good? Okay. A rat, a cat, a black-eyed bat, a cow, an owl, a feathered fowl, a dog, a hog, and an old barn frog. Everyone slept peacefully, but not the flea. No one heard him cough. No one heard him sniffle. Or sniffle, sniffle. Not even the mouse he used for a house, or the rat, or the cat, or the black-eyed bat, or the cow, or the owl, or the feathered fowl, or the dog, or the hog, or the old barn frog. They all slept peacefully, but not the flea. No one heard his garbled plea. Does anybody have a tissue for me? Not even the mouse used for a house, or the rat, or the cat, or the black-eyed bat, or the cow, or the owl, or the feathered fowl, or the dog, or the hog, or the old barn frog. They all slept peacefully, but not the flea. Poor flea. Somebody feel sorry for the flea. Then suddenly, before he could cover his snoot, well, he scared the rat, who cried, woo-hoo, and woke the cat, who hissed, ow-wow. He baffled the bat, whose eyes turned blue, and confused the cow, who uttered, moo-moo. He outraged the owl, who hollered, hoo-hoo, and flustered the fowl, who crowed, cock-a-doodle-doo. He daunted the dog, who barked, woo-hoo. He sprayed the hog, who screamed, ew, and he reminded the frog of his old nephew. But the mouse the flea used for a house kindly gave him a tissue. The flea wiped his nose, and before his eyes had even closed, he began to doze. For all the rest of that night, that dark, dark night, on the old, old farm in the rickety-crickety, tumble-down barn, everybody slept peacefully. The flea and the mouse they used for a house, the rat, the cat, and the black-eyed bat, the cow, the owl, the feathered fowl, even the dog and the old barn frog, everyone slept just like a log, except the hog. No one heard his garbled wheeze. I think I've got a sneeze.
That's one of my favorite stories.
It's always Frank.
Well, that's the story we're sticking to. Thank you so much, Judi Evans from Days of Our Lives.
Have a good day. Enjoy your day here.
All right.
What are you doing watching Passions? Aren't you in preschool? Silly girl. Well, we have Mark Wystrach from Passions. Are you ready? Come here all this way to Yeah Baby Expo to read a story to you. Are you ready?
Yeah! Woo! Hey guys, how you doing? Are you excited for a book reading? What's your favorite book? I bet this is going to be your new favorite book. Have you guys ever seen this book? You have? This book is one of my favorites from when I was about you guys' size. I used to be like this tall. Now I'm like this tall. Where the Wild Things Are. This is a really great book and it's really good pictures. So if you guys want to run up, maybe not her, I don't think she can run yet. But if any of you guys want to run up and look at the pictures, I'll slow it up so you can see them. Because the illustrations really tell this story. Alright? So, who's ready for this one? You're ready, you got the binoculars up front. Nicely done. So here we are, Where the Wild Things Are, story and pictures by Maurice Sendak. Mr. Kalani. Unbelievable. Thanks for watching, Adrian. Alright. Where the Wild Things Are, narrated by Mark Wystrach. Alright. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind, he's wearing a really funny suit. It's a wolf suit. And another, he's running down the stairs with a fork after his dog. You want to see these pictures? You can come up and look at them. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. And he's pouting. Have you ever been sent to your room? I used to get sent to my room all the time. That's usually what I look like. You see the picture there? He doesn't. I still get sent to my room. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. Look at that, a forest out of nowhere. It's like he's in the jungle all of a sudden. You see that? Unbelievable. You can come up and look at the pictures too. Don't be shy. You guys should all come and sit right here up close. Then you can see the pictures. The forest grew in his room one night, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew. And look at Max, he's so happy right there. He's got a forest in his room. Can you imagine if you had a forest in your room? I could. It would be really fun. This guy's got the right idea. Pull right up in front. Get up close here. The forest grew and grew and grew, and it grew until his ceiling was hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around. And his room became a forest or a jungle. Do you see that, guys? Pretty excited. Max seems pretty excited about it. As he's running around in his crazy wolf suit. The forest grew and grew and it grew and it turned into a jungle. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, his very own boat. And he sailed off through the night and through the day. And he's got his own name on it. You see the name? What does that say on the boat? You see that? It says Max, right? That means it's Max's very own boat. Good for Max. Max had his own boat, and in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. He sailed all through the ocean. And you see there's a huge dragon, and he's landing on an island. It's getting good now. It's getting good now. And when he came to where the wild things are, he came to a place where the wild things are, and they roared, their tail roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth. You see their big teeth? Big scary guys, aren't they? Big scary guys. They gnashed their terrible teeth, and they unrolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Do you see that? I'm getting a little bit scared. Mark's getting scared. Hope you guys are brave. Are you guys all brave? Should we keep going? Nobody's too scared, right? We're still going. All right, we'll keep going then. What does the princess say? Should we keep going? excited about this. All right, until Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. He looked right into their eyes, big monsters, and he didn't blink once. And they were all frightened, and they called him the most wild thing of all. The monsters thought Max was more wild than they were, because he showed he was brave and he wasn't scared. So Max stared all the monsters down. They called him the wildest thing of all, and made him king of all wild things. And he sat on the throne, and they gave him a crown just like that young lady over there. And now, Max cried, "Let the wild rumpus start." And all the monsters gathered around Max in awe of their newfound king. Next page. And here they are. They're all stomping around, and the moon's up, and they're up past their bedtime. What's your bedtime at? 8 o'clock? It's like 9 o'clock now, and Max is still jumping around with the monsters. What's your bedtime? Do you have a bedtime?
That's all right.
What time's your bedtime?
I'm large.
8 o'clock? You stay up pretty late. 8 o'clock as well? So Max is staying out way past 8 o'clock, and he's dancing around with the monsters now. All right, he's coming to sit up with me. All right, there's Max jumping around and going crazy. The monsters are loving him. Look at him, Max is just becoming just like one of the monsters. They're climbing around in the trees, and he's adapting to the jungle. And he's wearing a big wolf suit. Now he's right on top of the biggest one. See that? Look how scary they look. Do you think they're scary? You guys aren't scared of them? Wow, you guys are much braver than I am. I was scared of these guys when I was your age. Brave little guys. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Because you remember, Max got sent to his room without supper because he was being bad. Have you guys ever been sent to your room? Me too. We talked about that, didn't we? Sometimes it happens. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are because he was hungry. Pretty good logic. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go, and we'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed